feature, but I think it's probably one of the most important features
Are you
of this
nuts? This
update.
thing's great.
So, if you've been around, one of the longest standing complaints that players have had, and we've shared this complaint. We've been very critical of the camera. It's been this issue that has been with the game for 5 years, and that is that the aiming at the corner is the most effective way to play, and that just kind of sucks because you don't want to play a game where only one part of your screen is the most is the most useful, right? So there's other problems. Different aspect ratios provide different advantages. There's been some really jerky movement when you move the camera really quickly, if you rotate it really quickly and you aim. And the biggest thing for me though is that your situation awareness is much less than it should be. So we actually watch these wars very closely, and sometimes you know, we watch the battles from a high above, so we can see how they play out. So we can see how well some of our game balance changes are working, and it's often that we see the battlefield from a higher vantage point, and we ask ourselves, "Hey, why aren't players doing this? Why aren't they doing that?" And they simply don't have the information that they need, right? If you have the binoculars, you can kind of have that information, but in general, in real life, you're able to see a lot further than you can in the game, right? So we've tried various things in the past updates. This is not a problem that we've only started working on recently. We've actually been trying different things through the years. We've tried to just zoom the camera out. Um, doesn't That doesn't solve the corner aiming. We've tried a technique where we just simply try to bring the camera in as you move to the corner, but we found through testing that that introduces a lot of jerky behavior in your input, and overall, it doesn't feel good. So we did a lot of research this year, and we arrived at a new camera system, which is multi-target camera. And I won't get too far into the technical nitty-gritty stuff, but essentially how this works is that instead of the camera just following your aim, we actually constantly have four targets that represent the space in the world that we want the player to be able to see, and the camera parameter and transformations automatically update themselves at all times to be able to keep those 4 points on screen. So it doesn't matter if you're looking up, it doesn't matter if you're looking down or in the corner. The viewable space is as much as possible. It tries to show the same amount of space. Now it's not 100% perfect, so there is within like a small percentages. Maybe at some points you can see slightly more or slightly less, and we're constantly fine tuning the parameters of this. We'll continue to do it throughout the dev branch, but I think when you first use it, you will see how much better it is, right?
Now,
Could we
if you,
say
Yeah.
could we say in layman's terms it's a smart camera?
yep,
That's
that's like
kind of lame, Matt. It's a lame name.
if you're
Adaptive camera?
Yeah, I made up a Star Trek name for it. Multiphasic adaptive camera. How about that?
Sure.
how about if you're not a tech person, it's magic. It magic did it, and we're done.
So the benefits of the new tactical camera um, re- vastly reduced the need to aim in the corner. In fact, I almost say now that in many cases, aiming in the corner might not even be as good. Um, your situation awareness is much better than before, so you'll be able to spot a tank that is trying to flank you, or if you're trying to flank, you have much more information um, to actually perform a flank, right? Whereas previously you wouldn't. When you're driving, you have increased visibility, so you can just generally see more. Movement of the camera has been smoothed out, and uh, the camera performs better at different aspects ratios. There's one more feature, and this is going to be important later when we talk about the building update. You can hit a key now to actually see the roofs of structures. So before, if you're in a trench network, you can't see if someone's standing on top of the bunker. Now you can, right, with a simple push of a key. So to go along with this, well, there's a little bit of a history here, but we are adding new rifles, but Julian, you want to say something about why?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of rifles were planned for the Winter Army update, but Mark was excited for the new camera changes, and with the new camera changes comes we relooked at the guns and the ranges. There wasn't a dramatic alteration in ranges to weapons, but Mark wanted to hold back new guns to kind of announce and release at the same time as the new camera. So we have a swath of new rifles and one really, really old rifle
Yeah, so
coming to the game.
it's important to note that the long rifles, another reason why it was held back is because it didn't work as well with the old camera, but with the new tactile camera, it just works much better, right?
Yep.
Um, so here we have the Volta repeater, and Matt, do you want to talk about the history of this? Because I don't think everybody necessarily knows the history of this weapon.
So for those who have only joined in the last, I guess, like 2 years, we had an event where we hid a bunch of things in vaults that were also hidden around the world. Unfortunately, some players decided to like hack into it, but that's a whole other story for another day. Anyway, inside one of these vaults was weapon racks of Volta repeaters. They were like relic weapons that were like one-shot kills, and they were pretty cool. And people really liked them. It was really fun to make and everything. And people always clamor for them. And it was one of those things where we're like, yeah, we should let's make it. It's no longer a relic. They figured out how to make it again. They figured out how to put some pieces of metal and wood together.
And we decided to keep this legacy look of the gun, right? That's
yeah.
Yeah. So with the Volta, it has been rebalanced, but it still has a chance to one shot. But the trade-off is it's very clunky. It takes long to aim, so you're not going to be able to move really quickly and still be able to get an accurate shot with it. The long rifle it shoots a bit further than a normal rifle, but the firing time is longer, so time between shots.
It has a longer bolt cycle before you get your next shot.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Julian, you want to talk about these?
The Wardens also needed an equivalent relic gun, and I'll let Matt talk about this one because it's his favorite gun.
Yeah, the Hangman 757 is a rifle that is basically like a massive revolver. It is comparable to imagine both the Volta and the Hangman were used in like the early days of like non-flintlock firearms, automatic, quote unquote automatic firearms or lever action firearms, but the Wardens thought they were hot shit by creating like a revolving
a good description.
Yeah.
Wardens
the Wardens think
a revolving magazine as opposed to a standard magazine with a bolt action.
So it does take revolver ammunition. That's its thing, and that's unique to the Wardens. I really like the gun. The Cinder, their long rifle, is their long rifle. It has the two long rifles are statistically different from one another. But again, this was just we could have a longer ranged gun now because of the new camera, so we did it. Yeah. And my personal favorite is the automatic rifle, which is exactly what it says it is. It is a full auto rifle that in classic Warden style has a press F single fire function. And this is kind of a counter to the Dusk machine gun, or the Dusk assault rifle. In that it is medium to close. You're not with full auto. You're not going to be hitting anything at range with it, and you're just going to be dumping rifle rounds at close to medium to being in a trench range.
Great. Time for the next video.